simply end when it passes. The splinter entities of the transdimensional non-place are no longer bound by their exile, and their temporal holocaust effects have chronologically crippled entire planetoids at the behest of the star god Deceiver. The Lord of Death is abroad also, a black shadow that kills simply because it is death itself. Even the greenskins, long presumed extinct and consigned to legends, cautiously have returned to the great conflict once more. The tiny spore morsels left on worlds on the galaxy over slowly spread and developed over the millennia. Gradually, feral orc tribes began to spring up on even civilized worlds. Officials, dismissing these feral beings as mere savage beasts, simply began to call these orc nests with military force. Thus the feral orcs grew and spread, fueled by war once more. For the first time in 20,000 years, the galaxy rang to the sound of Wah once again. However, not all the orcs returning were feral. Some were anything but. A new breed of orc emerged, fully armored in heavy armor of high quality, with potent weapons and flawless discipline. These elite bands of orcs emerged from strange portals, or well-maintained warships, taking and holding worlds with horrifying efficiency, turning a world into a fortress within days. These orcs are like no orc ever encountered. It is claimed that they were exiled orcs who found their brain boys. Others claim they are all enthralled to a powerful warp being, while some claim that a being may have figured out how to pilot the orc gods themselves, wielding the entire orcoid race as a single vast weapon. Either way, the orcs are amassing for some purpose, yet unseen. Not only this, but the Eldar also gather, returning from the shadows with new insights. Some intensify their spiteful wars against the galaxy, while others take to the long view. The fallen graph world of Melanti stirs. Something is building within its nexus, something vengeful. Fate is weaving these rising empires into a great and deadly embrace. As each grows, the inevitability of coming conflict is rising and building. We cannot escape it, nor can we oppose it. We can only try and survive it and hope against hope that when end comes, it will drag suffering and pain into the fires as well. It is the 61st millennium, and the age of dusk is upon us. Let us hope dawn will break on a new universe, for hope is all we have, screaming against the storm. And there you have it, guys. That was the first part, the intro to Warhammer 60K, The Age of Dusk. I strongly recommend you read The Shape of the Nightmare to Come because it's going to set up basically everything that happens now. Since I've said this before, I'll say it again. I'll leave links at the description and links at the end of the video so you can watch those videos first before you dive into the rest of this one. Well, if you got to the end, then you probably already read it. Anyway, guys, this is amazing stuff. Awesome creativity here. It really makes sense to me. As I said before in the previous video on The Shape of the Nightmare to Come, all this could literally happen. GW could easily implement this into their lore, and it'll fit basically seamlessly into it. Anyway, guys, leave your descriptions down below. If you guys have some fan fiction for me to read, why not send it to our Facebook page? Also, guys, don't forget to check out our Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon for more 40K content. Oppressed by
3.
Sink.
And one more time. 1, 2, 3.
Sink.
I never got my apple juice.
Dab.
Sorry. Are you getting
It's okay.
apple
It's
juice?
okay. It's too late. Yeah,
You
I
didn't.
said
This is
I
the
know.
first time hearing about apple juice.
I
Anyway,
was-
welcome to the Procrastinators Podcast.
Yeah, hello everybody. We're here. That's the episode. What do you know? It already started. Who could have predicted
Welcome to
such a
the
thing?
Apple Juice Cast.
Remember Apple Jacks? The cereal.
Here's
not
my
the
hot
pony.
take. As a child, didn't much care for apple juice. I don't know why. As an
We didn't
adult,
have-
I find it almost too delicious, almost too sweet. I find the flavor of apple juice to be like intense, and it's strange because like I think back like when I was a kid, I didn't like apple juice at all. As an adult, I drink it and I'm like, whoa! That sounds
cultivated-
stupid, but I'm being completely genuine.
I'm
I
almost on
understand
the
that.
same boat though. Like when I was a kid, I used to like the mixed fruit or like whatever what was it, tutti frutti
Wild
something.
berry punch.
No, it's just like
Five
mixed,
Alive.
No, it's mixed fruit, like all of the fruits in
Sure.
together, and it's like right now when I taste it, it's like too sweet and kind of watered down, so I really dislike it. But apple juice, though, apple juice is the god of the juices. I love it so much. It's so good. It's pressed apple juice is the most delicious juice of all, and I love it.
No.
I always
we were
liked-
raised orange juice boys, and orange juice remains king of juices.
No, orange
I
juice
like-
has reigned for too long.
I
Overthrow
prefer-
orange juice.
I preferred orange juice growing up. I think I probably still prefer it, but grapefruit juice is my thing. Grapefruit juice is my favorite. I also like cranberry juice. I guess I like bitter stuff. And when I went
Bitter is best.
to a restaurant for breakfast, I would say, "Excuse me, waiter, please give me please mix me a tall glass of 2/3 cranberry, 1/3 grapefruit juice. Thank you very much." And that is my favorite.
Did you say bitter? Do you mean bitter or do you mean like sour?
Bitter.
I guess it's sour.
Cranberries,
guess
I mean, they're a little sour, but cranberries and grapefruits are both bitter, right?
That's a terrible taste, but okay.
No, it's good
nary,
shit.
There's
No, it's
nary
good shit,
time
dog.
I've at the grocery store and I buy orange juice now that I do not also buy a carton of grapefruit juice to make this exact concoction because it is transcendent. It
Yes.
is a
Bitter
delicious
is only
experience.
worse than sour. No wait,
Oh my
sour is
God.
only better than the bitter. Sour and bitter are
Imagine-
two worst.
imagine-
Such a
Imagine-
brainlet take to be like, ooh, some of these quadrants of food are
So
bad just across the board.
certain categories of flavor are just out of the question.
Yeah, they just
Exactly,
rule
they're
them out.
banned.
Do you
I
just
tell
do you not like
Foolishness.
coffee?
Unless I put a lot of sugar and cream into it. No, I don't.
Yeah. Okay. I
there's some
mean,
people like
same. I
that.
also cream and sugar. Well, I don't. I Splenda, but same difference. I also cream and sweeten
I
the
do
shit out of
like-
my coffee.
I do like lattes, with, like caramel.
I've been drinking black milk straight for the last while.
The fuck is
Though occasionally
black
I'll put
milk?
some shit in it. Did I say I meant black coffee?
Yeah,
That's
black
why I
milk,
shook.
Black milk. Only the blackest
Scary.
of milk for me.
Oh,
Scary.
that would definitely scare me to see my milk turn black.
Hey, speaking, we started this discussion with apple juice. Do you guys ever confuse apple juice with piss, as is discussed famously in Homestuck?
No.
Because this
No,
is,
like
you know,
unless
there's a
someone in your
similarity
house
there.
pisses in cartons or bottles of or
Well, of course,
juice.
I've told you that in college, I discovered that my roommate was storing piss bottles in the bottom of the trash can.
There
That's, you
was there was a period of my life where,
Mhm.
due to stressful living conditions, I did pee in bottles so as to not leave my room to go to the bathroom because I would have to see the people I lived with.
You guys
And
have
after the
more
cabin fever
privilege of
started to
being
set
able
in,
to
it was
pee
looking pretty
bottles.
delicious.
What Mage?
You guys and your milk privilege being able to pee in bottles.
I don't.
That's true. You just need a funnel, you know? Just you need an additional tool is all.
No, I was joking.
Well, no, I don't condone what I did, but I don't. But I don't condone it. But
I won't apologize for what I've done.
I feel like I was really, it was a rock and a hard place. I only did it because of the high pressure situation I was in.
Mhm.
It's okay. You were a hikikomori. You couldn't go outside. That's
It's not
understandable.
that. It was that I was under threat of being like evicted from my apartment like every single day, and also one of the guys I was living with was this intolerable, like unmedicated bipolar who was just every time you saw him, he would, like, 50% of the time, there was, like, a 50% chance that he would demand that you, like, do some things with him, some, like, completely pointless, time-consuming tasks, like moving all the furniture from one side of the room to the other side. He was like, we gotta do this right now, come on. And he would, like, expect you to help him with it. And I would just crouch in my room like, God, I can't risk it. I can't do it. Not
Damn.
again.
Okay. Well, was that? Does that have this? Is that related to the whole evicting thing? Because it doesn't seem like is your landlord like cruising around? Yeah.
No, that was not specifically related. Well,
It needs to be
because of
about
the
20%
eviction,
cooler.
the possible eviction, there were like most people had left the house, so it was just me, that guy, and one other guy.
It's an improvement, darling.
But no.
It's an improvement, darling.
Fair enough. All right. Well, guys, I'm sure you've heard. Homestuck 2 was announced. It was announced. Homestuck 2.
Okay.
It says on the website it's official, and I believe it.
Well, Nate,
Thank
I think I
Siri,
did see that.
here's my
announced.
question: do you give a shit?
Absolutely not.
Yep.
Absolutely not.
All right.
That's,
Cool. Mage.
That's all there is to say.
It's an
I
improvement,
never
darling.
really got into Homestuck, so no, don't care.
I'm simply curious. I'd be curious to see if anyone disagrees with me in the comments.
I
I
like to
read
be
all
true.
Homestuck, was on the arm retrieval. Good times. The epilogue came out. Tried to read it. Really tried. It just felt to me like they were trying to. It was like they deliberately didn't write the full ending to Homestuck in Homestuck, and now they're adding it back. Like there are pieces just left out, presumably to be filled in later as like this continuation. or whatever.
I never mustered the energy to read the epilogue.
Do you just remember, just quickly, there was that whole thing about like, the Homestuck, the 4-quadrant, like the secret weapon that was used against Cal at the very end. We didn't really understand what it was or how exactly it was found or what the purpose of it was. Like these things are somewhat explained in the epilogue. I got to the point where at least that like made some sense. But then it just kept going and I got completely bored, didn't finish it. There was so much fucking text. I don't have time for this shit. And I presume that it ended and I'm just flummoxed
Ben.
that there's
I'm
Homestuck
sorry.
2.
I'm drinking a fucking blue Raz Rockstar X-Durance.
And it's not even by Hussey, Homestuck 2. I don't understand. I'm just
Wait,
absolutely boggled that
what?
it's got like I saw page 1. It's got Dirk.
Well,
He's like a
Hussey
space
is like
pirate
Hussey
now.
is like the creative director of it. Or this is
I'm
what
sure-
I
I'm sure
heard.
that's
Like
true.
it's not. It's like he doesn't. He's like the Lauren Faust of it.
Yes.
Lauren Faust had to approve every script. Like she had to approve everything, even if she didn't write every episode herself.
I was happy to hear, what was that, last episode, that Hussey is engaging himself creatively with his interesting fashion line and as being a male Instagram model
Does he have a
and whatnot.
fashion? It's not a fashion line. He just dresses very cool and like takes selfies.
And that's totally sick, and I totally
It's
support.
kind of sick, yeah.
I
But
mean,
I
frankly,
don't give a shit
compared to
about
Homestuck
Homestuck 2.
It's that is the most interesting creative thing Hussey's done in a
Yeah,
long time.
genuinely,
for me.
I'm genuinely
Yeah.
more interested in Hussey like being funny on Instagram than I am in Homestuck 2. I don't.
Although,
ugh.
didn't he help work on Drill or Wint on Twitters? He helped work on like the book.
Here we see a breakdown of
I
this plan.
meant to buy
Yeah,
as well.
did
Never got around
Hussey
to.
helped work on the Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff book? Yeah, Nate, he did.
Oh, I forgot it was a Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff.
Yeah.
Okay, right, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I should read.
Yeah,
it.
that's
It's probably
fine.
of
I
quality.
didn't. I haven't read it, but if I ever got the chance, I would thumb through it. I don't know.
I've told you guys before that my first ever exposure, before you told me about Homestuck, Ben, was just reading the Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff comics that we found online. And it was
Yeah.
really that I should have stopped right there. That should have been my full experience.
I had heard of Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff way before I ever heard of Homestuck.
Amazing.
Or at least I remember knowing about. I remember reading Homestuck. They make reference to Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff, and I'm like, wait, Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff. I've heard of that. And then I go and find it, and I'm like, oh, Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff. That's a Homestuck thing. Like what?
I only
It
know,
is shocking.
knew about them as some sort of meme. I still don't know their context. I just know they exist and
You
they're
should
funny.
go to sweetbroandhellajeff.com right fucking now.
But maybe I shouldn't.
They're worth it. They're worth
They're
it.
so fucking good. They're
Okay.
legendary.
Later.
They
Later.
get a little. They taper off as
They don't take.
go.
Okay, they kind of taper off. All right,
I
but the
think they
first
do.
like half of it is fucking great.
I mean, they're legendary. They're great memes. That's all there is to it. Heavily inspirational to Gib, and well, okay, it's
To
not this
everyone.
episode, but his icon. Well, yeah, but
Heavily inspirational to our country.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
To our
To quote
culture
Hussey,
as a whole.
build that wall. We really
Dab,
took his
dab,
advice.
dab.
All right, there you go. Homestuck 2, done.
Yeah,
It's in the dirt.
nothing
I
else
can't
needs to
even-
be said about that. I opened up
I'm shocked.
homestuck2.com or whatever, and I saw like, oh, Dirk on a spaceship, and I said, okay, and I
Sigh.
hit that X, and I never looked back.
That's the way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just if anyone has read it and it's good, just let me know. I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked. I'm very curious.
I
But
wanna
okay, there you go.
talk about an anime. A single anime.
Ugh.
You have to
Strap
listen. You
self
have to.
into torture chamber.
I mean,
All right.
I guess there's no law against it, so I can't stop you.
It's called Ascendance of a Bookworm, and it's honestly one of the most pleasing animes of the season. Or like just like
Ooh,
this year for
pleasing.
me. For me
Ascendance
Okay.
personally,
of a
it scratches a certain itch. It's like I'm guessing you guys at least watched Dr. Stone or heard of it, right? So he uses power.
I've read like the first chapter of it.
Yeah, so he uses like power of knowledge to bring like science
Okay,
and
okay.
like stuff to the Stone Age, so to speak, of the future. Well, Ascendance of a Bookworm is sort of a bit of
The
an
Stone
isekai.
Age of the future. I'm slightly confused, but okay.
but yeah,
Well, that would
Ascendance-
be like a post. Oh God, what's the word?
Post-apocalyptic.
What's the word?
Right?
What's the word that Preston Jacobs uses to describe like a period of history wherein a society has regressed from an advanced civilization to like a pre-space ooh, darn it!
Post-apocalyptic primitivism.
Like
I don't know.
15 minutes from now, I'm gonna shout out the word.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
I'll do a counter. But yeah, Ascendance of a Bookworm is a bit of an isekai. So like a girl, she
Interregnum.
An interregnum.
Oh, okay.
Interregnum.
That
A
wasn't
period- a
15
period-
minutes, but
a period of time after a society has achieved space flight, wherein they lose it and enter a sort of like intermediate dark age before regaining it again.
Does
Yeah,
it have to be
okay.
specifically spaceflight?
Well, I think maybe in the
Listen
context
closely.
George R. R.
This
Martin
is
used it,
important.
whatever.
Okay.
Ascendance
I'm not
of a
sure.
Bookworm.
Yes,
Understood.
Back on topic,
sorry.
people.
I'm interrupting. Very rude.
So a girl dies and she gets sort of reincarnated into a body of like a 5-year-old child that actually just passed away, and she gets to inhabit her body instead. It's really sad and messed up when you think about it, but they don't think about it in this anime. They don't address it. But yeah, so she gets reincarnated and she's like all she wants to do is read a book. She wants to read books, but she lives in a peasant household. None of them can read or write, except for the father, just barely. He's a town guardsman, so he kind of has to. But like, no one knows what a book is. So her whole struggle is her trying to find or make a book.
Her
to
kampf,
read.
if you will.
Her struggle
Fine.
is to find and read a book, or to make a book herself if their family cannot afford a book.
Yeah, and
And
she'll
it's-
call it My Struggle, and
No.
she'll title it in her native German. That's what I'm saying.
No.
Continue.
Kampf is battle, by the way, Ben, not struggle.
Wait, what?
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure Kampf is battle, not struggle. But I could
I've
be
heard
wrong.
people say that it means my struggle.
I could be wrong. It's
Could be a
been
nuanced word.
it's been like 2 decades since I had German class. So 2 decades, I say, a decade. I'm not that old. Anyway, so it's like what's really satisfying
It
for me
needs
is
to be
just
about
like you get
20%
to
cooler.
see how much she works towards such a simple goal, and like all the little victories she has are just so satisfying, and she has so many troubles doing it, and she fails along the way, but also she brings a little bit of knowledge from her own world into this medieval
It
sort
needs to
of
be about 20%
stylish world,
cooler.
medieval styled world, like
It's all
like she sort of like invents shampoo in that world, because she used to be
Sorry,
able to
what?
shampoo. Yeah, she creates shampoo, like a very basic sort of shampoo.
You've
And,
seen Fight
darling.
Club, so she knows how to make soap, I assume.
no, well, not soap,
Does
but
she,
she
like,
knows how to
make
make
lye
shampoo.
out of
It's an improvement, darling.
Or
No.
explain. Can you tell me about how does she make shampoo? I'm genuinely curious.
Now, if I remember correctly, like she used some oils from a fruit, and then she added some, uh, what was it? What's it called? Like not vegetables, not mince. What's that called? It's like some
Bullshit.
grass things.
Some bullshit in there and just whipped it up. You know,
Shut
just
up!
bing
No,
bong
no,
bing.
I forgot the name. I forgot the word. It's herbs. There we go. Some herbs into the oil.
Okay.
And yeah,
Herbs
she
and
went.
oils are not what shampoo is made of.
Well, she explains it
Unacceptable.
better. No,
Okay.
like she it's some sort of like basic type of shampoo she used to make with her mother back in her own world, and
Okay.
it worked fine enough in a world where there's absolutely no shampoo. It
Is this as detailed as like Dr. Stone, which is seemingly pretty scientifically accurate?
I think
Have you
so.
you should why you should play Dwarf Fortress where you have to have your dwarves make their own shampoo. You have to burn wood to make charcoal and then soak the charcoal to make lye and then process the lye into bars of soap and then mix and then put it in a waterfall and watch
That
your
sounds
dwarves
so
hair.
boring, Ben. How
It's
could that
epic,
possibly
dude.
be fun?
Have I yeah, it's you say it's boring, but then
I
you
do.
build your communal showers and then like 50 dwarves a year end up like getting sucked down the drains and dying in the cisterns beneath, choked with dwarf bodies of women and children, like legendary swords and axes and pieces of armor down there, just waiting for some enterprising individual to get that. You call that boring, huh?
It's just hard for me to understand how this
The
could
fucking
not be
the
boring.
fucking death bathhouse.
Okay, but back to the anime.
Yes.
It is similar to Dr. Stone in the fact that like she explains all these things and how she's making it and stuff. It's like but Dr. Stone has a lot of energy and lots of extreme facial expressions and stuff like that. And with this one, it's a lot more like slow and toned down, but but it's also like cute and is still interested. I'm surprised how interested I am. I'm just loving the crap out of this anime, and I just want to see more. It scratches that itch I didn't know I had, and it's great. I love it.
Fair
So
enough.
I recommend people to watch it.
Okay, all right.
I think I can understand the appeal.
It's like with most isekais, it's usually a power fantasy. You sort of like you solve all your problems with magic. You're a super powered guy. You're the only one. You're the chosen one. You're the god of this universe. But with this, she's a 5, almost 6-year-old girl, and she's so weak physically that she can't even walk to the edge of the town.
To the shitter, so she's constantly shitting herself. This is her main struggle to
No.
overcome in the
No.
next.
Unacceptable.
Oh,
It
jeez.
takes 3
Oh,
months.
what?
3 months of her to build up her stamina just so she can reach the edge of town. That's how weak she is. And like with that frail body and her getting constantly like fevers and stuff, she has
Wait.
to. She's working towards accomplishing her goal of just
Wait, so
making a
what
book.
is her goal? I might have
To
missed
make
it.
a
To
book.
make
A
To
book.
make a
Yeah.
book.
Yes, currently.
Why
her
doesn't
goal.
she just make a book?
It's hard. Like you
What's
can't.
in her? What's standing in her way?
She
needs
can't.
what,
She
leather,
has
paper,
no access
ink?
to paper. She starts off not knowing the language of the land. She has to learn to read and write and stuff.
I'm sorry.
Wait, whoa.
Wait. She. Oh, okay.
That's
so
confusing.
she has to learn to read and write the language,
Yeah.
and then she has to like get trees and like process them into paper on her own, and like
Well, no.
probably like skin a cow and like tan the leather to make the binding or something.
Well, I mean, I
And
guess
this-
maybe at some point, but no. Like she tried to make papyrus, which didn't work. Then she tried to do clay tablets, which is
This is
the
so
last arc we just
specific.
did. I know.
What
I
I
love
I
it.
appreciate how
Clarify this one
ridiculously
point.
specific this premise is.
You said she was okay. Obviously, if she liked books at all, she must have been able to read in her original world. So, but like,
Yeah.
if she already can speak that language, and obviously she didn't have to learn how to speak the. Is there some like isekai thing where like she speaks the same language she used to speak, but it's being
Maybe
translated
this
to
world
a
is used for
different-
a different
Now,
alphabet.
if I remember correctly, I think when she first got isekai, she didn't understand. No, I'm not too certain because I've watched so many animes.
I like how it's a
but-
verb
I
to
see.
get isekai'd.
Yes,
It's a thing.
it's a thing now, sadly,
Yeah.
or
My
luckily.
favorite thing about isekais, my absolute number one favorite thing, is all these stories about how you put like an average neat loser with no skills, no abilities into a world, and they don't get anything. I particularly like the power fantasy of these gamer skills I had as a worthless piece of shit gamer who achieved nothing in my life, I can now pretend. I like the fantasy of pretending that those skills might have some use in some other world, even though we all know they never would and they never will.
Yeah,
and
but
it's
with-
embarrassing when they try.
With her, she used to read a lot of books, so she's applying the knowledge from the books.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm talking about. That's
Yeah, yeah.
that's a-okay.
The
That's A-okay.
only good isekai that has ever been written and ever will be written
Homestuck.
is Slime and Punishment, the story of
Ah.
Phantom Horn being sent from his cozy, boring existence in the real world of Ponyville into the fantastical wonderland that is New Los Angeles City.
I am not surprised.
The greatest isekai ever made, currently in its 5th season. 6 seasons in a movie, baby.
Hey, just out of curiosity, it seems
Yeah.
like you're plugging along towards the end. Is that close to ending now? Are you getting close to the end?
Well, the main story that I set out to write is over. I did
Okay.
successfully tell the story of their.
But it's time for Slime and Punishment too, baby.
It's
time to
basically-
cash in.
It's basically time to go from the story I set out to tell, and now I mean, because Chris made some. Oh, you know what I have here, and this ties into what I'm talking about. Fuck, where are they? Where are they? Where did I put them?
It
Damn.
needs to be about 20% cooler.
No. All right. Well, I can't find them. But whatever.
Okay.
The point is, Chris sent me her custom-made cards for
Oh.
Twilight Sparkle Secret Shipfic folder. When they have these, she sent me the Arizona Slime expansion pack.
Did you have to give Chris your address in order to achieve this?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Chris is
Not
Whatever.
protective of personal information.
Who
It
gives
needs
a
to be
shit?
about 20%
Fair enough.
cooler.
Fair enough.
What's she gonna do?
Well, I just mean she might leak it because she's a bit of a dunce.
Yeah, because
at
you're
these things.
Why would she do that?
Well, I'm not saying intentionally, but she's so flippant with her own personal information.
That's true.
Oh, okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. Not important.
It's totally unimportant.
Right.
Frankly, I'm offended that you even brought it up.
Indeed. Fair.
Anyway, yeah, I'm holding them. I was holding them in my hands. I don't know why.
It needs to be about 20% cooler.
Okay, I'm just gonna stop freaking out.
Oh, I used them as toilet paper because I was running out.
Sorry.
Ooh,
Oh
ooh.
shit! Oh, not
Damn.
again. Second time this week. Where the fuck would they be? Where the
Okay.
fuck would they be other than
Look,
right
I'm
where
with
I left
you,
them?
but do you
It's an
need them to
improvement,
make your
Donnie.
current point?
I was gonna
at
read
this
off
juncture?
some of the text on them because they're
It
really
needs to be
good.
about
There's
20% cooler.
one. Okay, she posted like screen caps of all of them on Twitter, but there's one in there that is not that she never posted, and I think it was like meant to be a secret, or maybe I don't know. But it seems like it's like
It's an
directly
improvement, Donnie.
addressed to me, and it's
Whoa.
basically
It
Chris
needs to be about
Chansonici
20%
wagging her
cooler.
fucking finger out of the card directly at the viewer, being like, "Be nice to your OCs. Don't fuck with your OCs. It's cruel to write bad things happening to your OCs."
Chris wrote murder of his OCs. They were
Chris
horribly
literally
mentally
murdered
tortured.
70,000 people in New Los Angeles City.
Oh shit! But those were your
Literally-
OCs, so it's okay.
It needs to be
Literal
about 20%
genocide.
cooler.
Hey, we can pause for a moment. You can go look if you want. We can just cut that out. Wanna?
Well, oh, I see him.
Hey,
It needs to be
alright,
about
there you go.
20%
I mean,
cooler.
to be honest, I feel like I've already explained everything I needed to about them.
Well, yeah. Do you want to just get the exact text of that? I'm curious to hear it. I want to hear it in Chris's own words.
Sure,
you know?
sure, why not? Where is it? There's Chris Chansonici holding the slime podrin, the bicarbonate rain. Here we go.
You got to give us some pictures of this for the show notes, please.
Sure.
As well.
The
Okay.
card is called, and this is blasphemy, an endless war-free state. So
It's
just
an
like all the
improvement, Donnie.
politicians of our day, they're all calling for an end to endless war. Have they no shame? So this is a goal card. Do you guys have any idea how Twilight Sparkle Secret Shipment Folder works, by the way? Because I don't.
No, none.
I'll talk about it in a second.
I saw there was a Magic the Gathering crossover with MLP the other day. Now that I understand.
Wait,
That
It
I
like
get
needs to be
official
about
one?
20% cooler.
Yeah, like actual Magic cards with like Rarity the Rare. She's like a 2/2 monster unicorn
No,
legendary.
come
yeah.
on.
Yeah,
No.
Celestia or something. Yeah.
No.
That's just real.
You're
I'll find
lying.
a picture. You
Stop lying
read
to
up
me.
your card. I'll find it.
All right. Well, oh my God, IGN Magic the Gathering reveals My Little Pony crossover set. This is vile. This is
There you
truly
go.
vile. All right, goal card. An endless war-free state.
It needs to be about
Win
20%
this
cooler.
goal when At least 3 pony cards who have been given the villain keyword by card effects are either cleared of the villain
It needs to be
keyword
about
or
20%
discarded
cooler.
in the same turn.
Hmm.
And then there's a parentheses 13, and I don't know where the 13 comes in. Quote, and so, the Slime Co. dilemma and the Endless War came to a close in Dimension C197 on October 3rd, 2019, when the moral being even the heaviest... No, sorry. The moral being, even the heaviest of hatred can be quelled when we come together towards a common goal. Also, your OCs should be treated with kindness and respect. Do not abuse them, or each other. Chris Chan Sonichu. So, I got these in the mail, and I thought, damn, this makes me want to get the game and, like, play the game with these cards in it.
Sure.
Like, I don't know, I think Twilight Sparkle Secret Shipper Folder seems like a kind of funny game, I guess. I wasn't that interested, but with these, like, maybe I'm a little interested. But I went to go buy it, and it turns out you can't. Literally, the company is just out of business. But you can kind of do it, and like the way that you can still get the game, but
It needs to be about
you
20%
have to do
cooler.
it in the same way that
Is there
Chris made
improvement,
these
Donnie?
cards, which is if you go to the Twilight Sparkle official site, they'll be like, "Hey guys, we're out of business, but you can still make the game the same way we did," and they just redirect you to like a custom card printing site, and they're like, "Here's the files. Just give them the files, and like you can like have them make your own set."
That's
And
pretty cool, I guess.
it's kind of cool. It's kind of weird. Isn't that... Don't you think that's fucking weird? I think it's bizarre.
It seems like they're like, even though our game is technically dead, like we still, and we can't sustain it anymore, we just want people to be able to keep playing if they really want to. So here you go, folks. Here's the fucking...
Yeah, I mean, I guess so.
files.
Personally, I don't understand why they would, like, do that. Like, why declare
It's
yourself...
generous.
Why
For
do...
them.
I don't...
For
yeah, but
me.
why declare yourself out of business
Equestria.
when you could just be like...
It needs to
like
be about
every time
20%
you
cooler.
tell someone, go make it yourself, you could just take an order for
It
it
needs to be about
and do
20%
it for
cooler.
them and, like, probably make a profit off of it.
Maybe they are planning a resurgence one day. They had, like, everyone was busy. They had to go make their bread elsewhere. But they're hoping to come back one day, and they want to just seed the world with as many of these as possible in the meantime to spark interest. I don't know.
I guess. Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know. It's weird. Alright. I just want to say that, okay, these cards explain that, the bicarbonate rainstorm did de-slime New Los Angeles City and put an end to the Endless War. And that is true, however, only in the alpha timeline. And there are beta timelines. They are doomed beta timelines, like in Homestuck, but they do exist, and they shouldn't be written off as irrelevant. So
Well, geez, you're really ceding a lot of ground here. What makes this timeline the alpha timeline? What's to say that one isn't doomed? Why is that one so, legit?
What are you talking about? The alpha
Why is
timeline is the alpha timeline, and the others are offshoot beta timelines.
Okay, I
and beta
guess Chris has
timelines
stated
and
this.
beta
You must-
timelines die.
But how can you determine between a beta and an alpha timeline at any given time?
I don't know. Nobi's
Okay.
got all kinds of like freaky dimension eyes, and he can see weird shit, and he knows these things. I don't know. I don't know. I
Okay,
can see
okay.
into C197. I'm just reporting what's going on there. Okay, I'm not the scientist, right? I'm not the
Well, that's
expert.
fair.
I only report.
Well, on this subject, there was one other thing that we wanted to discuss last week, or that I was going to bring up. We just forgot or whatever. And it was that, like, or rather, I was going to bring up more. I think we talked about it a little bit. Was that when you finished your Kickstarter, got your Yang, 12K.
Yeah, the
yearly
12K.
earnings.
Got my UBI.
Upon
My
seeing
own
this,
personal UBI.
upon seeing that, Chris just wanted that money, despite it being specifically for a
It needs to be about
business
20%
venture.
cooler.
Yeah.
And it's just this perception of Ben now has money. He
Well-
could give that money to me now.
To be
He
fair-
could do that. He could.
To be fair,
Yeah.
neither Chris nor Maggie Chan has mentioned that to me
improvement, Donnie.
in a while now. so they might have dropped it. I'm not sure. Although who knows? Like they could come back.
It needs
at
to
me
be
at
about
any
20%
time.
cooler.
And it was
And it was not.
mostly Magi-chan. Like they
It's
were
an improvement, Donnie.
they were absolutely good cop bad cop in me. Like Magi-chan was like the hard ass
It's an
like
improvement,
you better pay what you owe, criminal scum.
It's an improvement,
And
Donnie.
Chris like acted as though that wasn't
I
happening.
can't hold him back that long, Ben. You better
Yeah,
give
like,
him more
hey,
than
Donnie.
once.
listen, I'm not responsible for anything my partner does, okay?
It's an
And
improvement, Donnie.
if you really make him mad, he'll get Mewtwo on your ass, and you definitely
Oh.
don't want
Donnie.
that. That's gonna be way worse for you. You think Magi-chan's mean? He learned everything he
needs to
knows
be about
about being
20%
mean for
cooler.
Mewtwo, okay?
Damn, true.
Yeah. So hopefully we don't have to take it to that level.
I think there's something to be learned about.
It needs to be about
the nature
20%
of man
cooler.
in this little exchange
It needs to
here.
be about
When
20%
money's
cooler.
there, everybody just
It
wants
needs to be about 20% cooler.
Yeah.
It's an
well,
improvement, Donnie.
Too bad, suckers.
Yeah. Go make your own Kickstarter, folks. I guess that's all there is to
Oh,
it.
actually, Magi-chan asked me.
Mhm.
It's funny. He asked me like he said like, hey, you know, you don't have to pay me that $300 if you will make a Kickstarter for
Right.
my. Did I already talk about this for my
I think
card
you mentioned it.
for
I
my
believe you.
expansions? If you make a Kickstarter with a goal of $5,000, I'll waive that $300 you quote unquote owe me if you run my campaign for me. Lamau.
It's very silly.
I did not listen last week's episode. Why are you quote unquote owing money to them?
I mean,
Good question,
That's
Mage.
a great question. It's okay.
It needs to be about
It's a little
20% cooler.
unclear of whether the reason is
the block. Show them
because
that you
I
walk.
used
It needs to be
Chris's
about 20%
characters
cooler.
in the story.
It needs to be about
Because
20%
I
cooler.
used the comic to attract attention while running a
Mhm.
Kickstarter, which made money, maybe, or.
Okay, but the comic has nothing to do with the Kickstarter, right?
True. Well
Or
observed.
the other possible reason might be because Chris used my characters on her cards, and therefore I ought to pay to have them made.
No,
These
that's
are
not-
like three different reasons that are sort of kind of interchangeably given.
The last one sounds like Chris should be paying you to use.
If
It
any-
does. You'd think
if
that,
anything.
but no.
Okay, no, like so the Kickstarter had nothing to do with the comic in which you used Chris Chan's
Technically, the
OCs.
Slimoid stuff at the end was related, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I
I'm
guess.
still angry with you about that.
With me? Oh, well, it's okay because Tom and Hippo both saved it.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
good.
it's true.
Okay, I didn't see the save. Okay, good.
You
Haven't
didn't
been on
see
Twitter
that?
in a while, so.
Oh yeah. No, it was great. Like I'm so glad. I don't regret anything because it worked out so good. Yeah, Hippo drew Redman, saving it at the last minute, and then Tom made a full 3D animation of Azumi saving it at the last minute.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, you
And-
gotta go
and
look at it. You talked about extensively last
yeah,
time.
we won't dwell on it because we talked about it
Yeah.
last time, but you should check it out. They're both really good. And I don't know if these are two separate timelines. I kind of wonder if maybe like because the Azumi thing happened. I kind of wonder if maybe they didn't just happen in order.
It's an
Like
improvement,
maybe
Donnie.
Azumi saved it from the pit, and then because Hippo then drew a page of N7 showing up to fight Azumi. So I wonder if maybe just in the battle, like Uwupati just accidentally fell back into the vat anyway, and like the two of them were too busy fighting, so it took Redman to come
Where
in
did I go wrong?
and just I've hit rock bottom, and maybe then just Redman came in and scooped it out. I don't know. My hypothesis
Ben,
is
you
that these
fool,
are
you
both
fool.
the same
It's an
time.
improvement, Donnie.
You seem to be implying that was Redman who saved him. That wasn't Redman.
It
That was
needs to be about
Susie,
20% cooler.
the slime girl OC
Wait.
of Gib.
Was it?
Yeah, go look
that
at it again.
canon?
It's clearly like a girl. It's not
What do you mean it's
Redman.
Clearly a girl.
At least
It needs
I
to be about
think.
20%
Yeah, you
cooler.
know, we talked about this too
hold
much
on,
last
hold
time.
on. Now, this is interesting.
It needs to be about 20%
because
cooler.
It was a little pinkish, wasn't it?
Yes, of course.
Wait a minute. Okay. I got to make sure.
Okay, cut all this out.
Cut all this out.
Just
Cut all this
of
out. It's all
All
bullshit.
this.
It's all bullshit.
All of the
Straight into
podcasts,
the
like
trash.
make it 0 minutes, 0 seconds.
All right.
Oh, well,
See what I'm saying? Look at those hands. Those pink hands.
Okay. You know,
Yeah,
you
they're
got a
pink.
point.
They're not
You,
pink.
okay. I don't know. Like, look at the top of its head. It looks like a smooth circle to me.
I mean, that could just be a curve of the top of, you know, Susie's, like, I think her name's Susie. I could be fucking wrong. Her,
Okay. The
her
hands.
hair head thing.
No. Okay. I see what it is kind
Wearing
of
a jacket, though. Well, Redman was wearing a suit. But still. I
I
believe.
thought I assumed it was Red Noir suit version Redman. I see what you mean. Like the one thing that I think is supports the Susie hypothesis is the color, because it does seem a little pinker than I'm
Indeed.
used to seeing Redman. But the top of the head to me looks like Redman's head.
Please edit in. Look at the top of his head meme in this moment.
What is that?
Oh, I know
Oh, you wouldn't know, Ben. You wouldn't know.
I don't, so I guess you're right. Okay. Well, viewers, let us know in the comments. What do you think? Do you support the Susie hypothesis or the Redman hypothesis?
I need like a list of Hippo's characters.
Donnie?
Put them next to that.
Either way, Hippo has made like big like collection images, like all his male characters and all his female characters.
Yeah,
Either way, I still support the unrelated hypothesis that both Tom's rescue and Hippo's rescue took place in the same timeline, just one immediately after the other. But
So there are now two slimes instead of
but I
one.
can't prove it.
One,
Well,
perhaps.
because Chris said that if Uwhoopity survived, it would be bad for everyone. So I'm thinking that the one in which Uwhoopity survived is the beta timeline, which the comic is now taking place in, which has where Frame and Nobi are discussing the timelines, and they have to come up with a plan to get back to the Alpha timeline before the universe dissolves, right? Because in the Alpha timeline, all the slime was destroyed. So they got to get back to the Alpha timeline, but they gotta do something about the slimes, because they don't want to go back and live in the Alpha timeline if there's no slime. They gotta find a way to bring the slime with them. That's the plan.
Who is this
Spoilers.
pink OC?
Huh? What?
This pink slime OC.
Look at the gross
Yeah.
disgusting. Another show
It's an
notes.
improvement, Donnie.
Oh,
All right,
yeah,
let's
that's,
not go down this rabbit hole. Look at this image. Now look at this image. Very cool
I'm not
image.
going down any rabbit hole. I don't know
Good.
what you're talking about. I've never gone down a rabbit hole in my entire life.
Hey, Zen Huxtable says he wants to join. You want to just hop
It's an
over to the other
improvement,
chat
Donnie.
and let him in?
Okay.
I'm scared.
Let's do
Why?
it. The answer's yes. Okay, hang on.
I never
All right.
been on the same podcast as a
It
guest
needs
as
to be about
well,
20%
so I
cooler.
don't know.
Whatever.
I always purposely miss those episodes
It's
so
an
that the
improvement,
guests
Donnie.
can have room to
Purposely.
Well, we're low on people anyway, so
I'm
hold on,
I'm
it'll be
sick
fine.
of you losers. Let's get
Yeah.
get some fresh blood in here.
Done.
Right there.
How's it going,
For
Dom?
me.
What's up?
Hello.
Hey.
I've been in a particularly weird
It needs to be about
because
20%
I work
cooler.
on weekends, right? I'm in college
It
right
needs
now.
to be
I'm a
about
senior year
20%
working on my
cooler.
animation thesis. It's been
Yeah.
it's been a lot of fun, but the other problem is, I just haven't been having a lot of time working on it because like I've been working on the weekends, So I have 2 days free to work on it, and then I have class the other 3 days. So what I'm thinking, right? Because I've saved a lot of money up because I also do commissions and whatnot. So I'm thinking I'm just going to quit the job because I want to. This is what I'm going to be presenting to my
It's an
employers
improvement, Donnie.
when I leave college. So I want it to be the best thing that showcases like what I can do as an animator.
It's an
So I
improvement,
want to make
Donnie.
the best product that I can. Gotta leave
It's
the
an
job.
improvement, Donnie.
I gotta cut my hair, and it's like,
Fair enough.
yeah, it's this isn't like
It
really
needs to be
dilemma
about
that's in my mind.
20%
It's just
cooler.
like, I'm explaining where I am mentally right now. It's just like I was actually supposed to go into work today, and I was like, you know what? No, I'm not gonna do that.
So did you just quit or something just now?
Yeah, I just quit.
All right,
Hey.
man.
Yes, indeed.
Dab,
Yes, indeed.
dab.
Truly, we
Dab,
live in
dab,
a
dab.
post-job society. Hey,
I have other money makers, sources.
Yeah,
yeah,
commissions and
exactly.
whatnot, right?
So it's
Yeah.
like it's not like no liquid is coming.
It needs to be about 20% cooler.
Hey,
that floor is
speaking
not
of,
from under me. Yeah, what's up?
Speaking of liquid, are we hanging out on Halloween?
Oh,
You
absolutely.
coming over on
Yeah,
Halloween,
for sure,
dog?
for sure. Yeah.
Nice.
Munchie,
I'm excited.
Oh, it sounds like fun.
I saw Munchie and I was like, hey, yeah.
maybe move to the real world for once in your life, Mage.
They tell me Munchie and Cassie tell me they've like seen you like once or twice around. And I'm like, damn, I can't believe all my separate cinematic universes are converging into
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really
you know
weird
what I'm
thing
saying?
because like the thing is, I'm a real homebody, so like when I'm not at school, I'm just animating or watching BoJack Horseman, which is what I was doing before I came in. Yeah, newest season came out yesterday.
Just in case you wanted to be extra sad today.
Right, exactly. No, new season came out yesterday, so.
It needs to be about 20% cooler.
I don't think I ever was up to. I think I watched like the first season.
Ah, okay, yeah.
It was good though.
I think I watched 4 seasons. So how many seasons are there now?
This is the 6th season.
Oh, okay. So I missed 1 season,
Yeah.
and I'm missing this one.
No, yeah, you know. I just I
It needs to be about 20% cooler.
If you do the same,
Does it release the whole episode, the whole
Yeah,
season? or
that's
is it,
Netflix, yeah.
Bit by bit.
I did something a little shameful.
Let's hear about it.
So
Oh,
you know
no.
that like we were talking about Twin Perfect last week.
Indeed.
Well, you know they put out that 4-hour video about Twin Peaks.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. Yes. Okay,
Well,
we gotta mention
I
that.
mean,
Go
to be
on, go
honest,
on.
and like, I don't know if I'm even
It
apologizing.
needs to be about
I feel like this is
20%
bad,
cooler.
but I don't think I want to apologize for it. Like, I haven't seen the new Twin Peaks. I watched the video. I don't care that it spoiled everything.
Oh my God, this is a 4-hour video.
Yeah.
It's 4.5 hours. This is incredibly fortuitous. Last episode, I was bitching and kvetching about where's Twin Perfect, or was it the episode?
No. I brought up Twin Perfect.
It's
Did
an
you?
improvement,
Okay.
I
Donnie.
think I
believe you.
brought up the song for some reason. No. It was
You may well have.
I don't know. Whatever.
Okay, it doesn't matter who brought it up. I believe you, Ben. That gets all the credit. But
Yes,
nonetheless, I
me.
was feeling
Thank you
and
very
expressed- I expressed some sentiment that like,
It needs
where's
to be
Twin
about
Perfect? It's been
20%
so long,
cooler.
I miss 'em. And they just came. It had been over a year since their last video.
Yes.
And they just released,
then-
and I was like, oh, what are they doing? They're being lazy or something.
It
They're
needs
probably
to be about
fucking around.
20% cooler.
The biggest fucking video like I've
Oh, I
never
think
seen
I was.
since that
Was I
one
talking
7-hour.
about? Were we talking about like
Pokemon.
cancel culture or something? Or I think I wanted to talk.
Yeah, a little bit.
I wanted to talk
a little
about
bit.
that thing with Tom whatever, the guy.
Tom
who-
Hewlett and
the
the
Tom
whole
Hewlett
blaming
thing and
him.
how.
I'm
yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
I'm still hung up on how he said kvetching. Is that like Northern European slang or something?
It's like Jewish. I think that's Yiddish or something.
Is it?
Yeah, I probably got that from Seinfeld in my youth.
Yeah, probably.
This is my
All right,
estimation.
kvetching.
I've been watching some hot YouTube One Piece. I don't know
Yeah.
why I said One Piece. Seinfeld.
Yeah, One Piece,
Too much-
aka Seinfeld.
It's too much.
It's basically the Seinfeld of Japan. As yes,
Too
you know,
much
that's
One Piece,
true. Okay, point was.
Luffy, stop eating all the meat. Sanji, fuck you. I just want to sleep and lift weights. Boom, ba-doom, boom, boom.
Usopp's getting upset. Okay, so Twin Perfect, biggest video I've ever seen in my fucking life. It's so huge, and Ben watched it. Cool. I had recently watched Twin Peaks season 1 and 2, and I was like, okay, I did a big like glowing tweet of this. Like, I can't believe these guys proved me so fucking stupid and wrong. I got to go watch the new season before I watch their video, which I'm dying to do. And I got to like episode 6. And it took too much brain power, so I had to slow down
You know
and
what?
relax. But
Here's the thing. I didn't
Yeah.
watch the new season. I did like a couple years ago. I did watch Twin Peaks, the original. I liked it. It was cool.
I'm a big fan.
You know, I know the new season's out. I hadn't seen it. I don't know when or if I was gonna make time to see it. But I did see the Twin Perfect review or analysis was out, and I was like, I
Yep.
really want to see that. I want to see that more than I
It
want
needs
to
to be
see
about
the
20%
new
cooler.
season. So I'm just gonna watch it. And you know what? I don't even think it would affect my enjoyment of this. I really don't. I guess I'm just one of these people that like spoilers don't matter for. I don't feel like I'll get less out of if I ever do decide to watch the new Twin Peaks than I
That
would
weighed
have.
on me. That particular question weighed on me heavily as I was thinking, because the funny thing
It's an
is,
improvement,
I
Donnie.
got into Twin Perfect from the start. They're like some of my favorite YouTubers with their shit,
Yeah.
with the real Silent Hill experience, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I got into Silent Hill by
You
watching
showed
their
them to me a
exhaustive.
long time ago.
Yeah, exactly. Their videos were the exhaustive, incredibly in-depth reviews of every detail of every Silent Hill game. Like, yeah, it spoiled everything, but you know what I did then? I went and I played the games, and I fucking
Yeah.
loved them.
I
and
mean,
they were,
I
like,
don't
my
give a shit
favorite.
about Silent Hill. I don't
Yeah.
ever have no desire to ever play a Silent Hill game, but I love
They are
those
good.
Silent Hill reviews.
They are
No,
great.
man.
So was this a good video? Did you enjoy it?
Yes,
Was
I
it-
did.
Yeah.
It is
That's
very
cool.
much okay. It is very much Twin Perfect have this mindset. Twin Perfect like really believe that they can like solve media, right? They can
Yes,
find like
they
the meaning of it, which is very annoying and objectively wrong. But it's still like a funny exercise to watch.
That is
someone
their
go-
approach, though.
It is like a fun exercise to watch someone go through, and they make pretty good. Not Fungo. Rossiter makes.
Rossiter,
He lays
yeah.
out a pretty compelling case for his interpretation of what it all means, and yeah, it's good stuff, man. It's good stuff.
That is a funny approach. I don't think I would ever. I suppose, like, if someone proposes to me, like, an interpretation of a show I really like for some reason, and I find their view of it to be, like, dumb,
Yeah.
then I could say that, like, well, that's dumb because I really. It depends. Like, if they're. What if they're picking up a small detail that is there and making that, like, their entire focus of the show, as opposed to getting something, like, wrong, that's, like, clearly wrong. Those are, like, two very different ways to view any piece of media. And one you can kind of counteract. The other is, I don't know.
Here's what I
don't
think.
know.
Like, I
Yeah.
feel like it's dumb to say that like this, like no matter how compelling your reading of a story is, and like I think that the one that Rossiter lays out in the Twin Peaks video is pretty compelling. But no matter how good it is, I think it's really stupid to be like, okay, this is the right one. And I feel like sort of implicit in the way he lays it out is this idea that like we found the right one, there is no other one, and like
That does seem to be the
that's
approach.
really like come on, get
Okay,
fucking
it's
serious.
funny. He's got a bit of an ego, which I like and appreciate.
It's not about
in
ego.
his-
I just think his critical approach is wrong in that regard, and it's very
That's what I'm
frustrating.
trying to say. But
Yeah.
like all his videos, they're all like, "You're wrong about Man of Steel," like you're wrong about
Yes.
Justice League or whatever the fuck it is.
I
which
don't
is-
mind
it's
the
interesting.
ego or the attitude, but I just like to be right, and I respect people who are correct. You know what I mean?
Indeed, I do. By the way, I got into a little bit on the point of like watching it first or whatever. When I put out my glowing tweet about like, oh my god, I was just shit talking these boys. I was proved so foolish. I am ashamed as a content
Wait, who
creator.
are you
I
talking
produce
shit about?
garbage. Well, these people produce actual works of quality.
Who are you
about
talking
you
shit
know.
about?
I was like on the last PCB episode, I was saying like, where's Twin Perfect? What have they been doing, man? Are they just fucking around? And like
I see.
and then they like immediately afterward come out with this. Like I hadn't watched the video, but I know the effort that Twin Perfect, that Rossiter puts into these videos. So I was I felt assured this would not be any.
It's not
any
as produced
mean feat.
as the Silent Hill ones, but like
Really?
it-
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't have any like songs in it or anything like that.
Mm,
You know what I
those,
mean?
Those were highlights. Those were
Yeah.
highlights.
Um,
Well, okay, fair enough. But just the little editing they do.
For everyone who thinks that me and Major contributing a little too much in this podcast, I'm sorry. We'll
Yeah.
dial it
It's
back
like,
a little bit.
apologize.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
I gotta know my place here.
I would contribute, but I don't know what you're talking about. I mean,
Have
like, I
I-
haven't seen Twin Peaks
Yeah.
or anything, so I have nothing to say on this topic.
Fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
I mean, some of the shit from like the footage of the new season seems pretty fucking weird.
It, let me see. There was, you know what? It's hard to describe in any kind of detail the,
Yeah, I don't
the
know.
shit you see. But it's just, I mean, it really is me sitting there looking at the things on screen, and I'm like, what did he mean by this? What did he mean by this?
What did
This
David
could
Lynch
be-
mean by this?
Yeah, I guess. It does feel, at this particular moment, 6 episodes into this 18-episode season 3, it feels too deep for me. But I'm gonna work my way
Wait,
back
was there a
and
reboot
try
of
to
Twin
piece it
Peaks?
together.
Not a
Yeah.
reboot. They just made a new season that takes place like 25 years in the future.
You're kidding.
Yeah, it's just straight up
didn't-
the
yo,
same
you didn't
story.
know?
same
Yeah,
I
it was like-
heard nothing about this.
Like last year, or I think I don't know.
No
I
kidding.
gotta say, it was 2017, I think. But the biggest
Okay.
thing that makes me sad is they were not able to get, because he retired from acting, the original sheriff from the old two. Like him and Coop were like buddies. They were a team, and they got like what they have now is they've got like an actor who's playing his brother, like also aged up, and that character is like in like rehab, or he's off like doing something else. I don't know. It's unfortunate. I miss that guy, but he's a retired actor. But they got the log lady. They got Coop, obviously. They got the giant, who I suspected would be dead by this point, but thank God he's not.
I mean,
Uh,
he looks like the kind of guy who's got some
Who
kind of
would
congenital
die.
thing that'll kill him before 40.
Just like Tom. Just like Tom.
Just like Tom.
Oh,
Rip.
no.
Rip.
I think they or Tom was saying he might have some like weird minor form of gigantism of some degree. That's why he's got like
He
his spine
says that
issue.
because he's tall, but like he's
I
not like
don't
freaky
know.
tall.
I don't know. But what if his parents were like 4 feet tall and Tom is like 6'5",
although it is true that I think that height does like inversely correlate with life expectancy, like to a small degree.
Oh no.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
you also.
That's why little dogs live really long and big dogs live not at all.
Yeah, it's something I don't know what it is, but like yeah, your
Maybe
thoughts.
it taxes your heart or
fuck
it taxes your system.
Yeah, manlet master race, rise up.
yeah, you fucking manlets are gonna have a real hard time rising up, if you know what I mean.
Dab.
I've been seeing like this weird.
Yeah.
I don't know like how big of a phenomenon it is. It might not even be a phenomenon, just like business practices. But it's like people who make quote unquote like high media doing like low media stuff. Like Francis Ford Coppola. He was like shitting on the Marvel Cinematic Universe, whatever. I could not give less of a shit about that. But like people were like, dude, you directed Jack, like that movie with Robin Williams. That was like a fucking joke. And I was like, huh.
Oh yeah.
I wonder who else is like that. And David Lynch, he was actually a voice actor in the Cleveland show by Seth MacFarlane. It's like,
No
yeah,
way.
yeah,
Alright.
like he.
That doesn't surprise me too much. I feel like he does that kind of thing. He'll just like show up on somebody's fucking show or whatever.
Right. It's
Do
weird.
like a funny little guest appearance.
Twin Peaks can be very non-pretentious at times. It's very like silly.
Okay, but like
much
this is
of
the guy
time,
who
but,
made
yeah.
Eraserhead, you know?
I've
True,
actually never
very
seen
true.
Eraserhead, but yeah,
It's
It's pretty good.
I liked it.
Eraserhead I know is from Macadamia.
my favorite
David
piece of
Lynch's
my
shit.
favorite David Lynch piece of media is David Lynch cooks quinoa.
Oh yeah,
Is
that's
that
a
a
good
thing?
one.
Which you can, yeah, it's a, oh god, I think it's like 20 minutes or something, but it's like some guy just goes to David Lynch's house and films him in his kitchen, and David Lynch cooks himself dinner, and he cooks some quinoa and broccoli, and he tells him his recipe,
Okay.
and then he goes out on the porch and smokes a cigarette, and while he's smoking, he like tells a little story about like riding the train through Eastern Europe and like buying some weird soda, and
Eastern Europe.
and then he go like through Yugoslavia or something, and then he like goes back to finish his quinoa, and like that's it. But it's really funny because like the video, it's edited to be in black, like it's in black and white.
I've
with
got it
very
right here. Here, right in the
dramatic
general
light-
chat. There you
very
go.
dramatic lighting, and like when like he'll make like a little hand gesture, and whoever edited it will add in like a super dramatic sound effect, like boom, like to go along with the story. It's wicked fucking good.
Wait, is this
It's a really good video.
Is this available on YouTube or something?
I just linked it. It's in the chat there.
Oh,
yeah.
beautiful.
It's in the thing.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I was right. 20
yeah.
minutes.
I think I tried to find this before, but I couldn't. But I'm gonna go watch
On
it
the
because
dot.
I've always wanted to.
That's the
Talked about it before.
That's the weirder stuff. I like that.
And which chat did you link?
I put it
it's
in
in general.
Gross Disgusting and also in the general chat in our cinematic
okay.
universe one.
Okay.
It needs to be about 20%
Yeah,
cooler.
I like when like these creatives make like appear into their lives, you know.
Of course.
There was that like Miyazaki like workflow documentary. You know, remember that one where it's just like show
that the one?
Workflow documentary.
Is
Now
that the one where he
sounds like
says
something
that
I'd get
anime
into.
was a mistake?
No, it might have been. I never watched the whole thing. He actually had a new documentary come out like last year. I didn't get to watching it. I don't know why. I just kept on putting it off.
I think
He
so.
said
I'm pretty
something,
sure.
It said something like that, yeah,
that got
exactly.
translated
Yeah.
in that way.
I'm not even gonna touch it because like I know I'm gonna get it wrong and then people are gonna give me shit for it. But like,
Probably.
yeah, you know, it's the one where it's like he's just like showing how he makes ramen and it's not even like spectacular or anything, but it's like, oh, that's something I know now.
Hey, by the way, on your subject of Coppola and whatnot, talking a little bit of smack on the Marvel films and whatnot, I just want to put forward the possibility that they would probably separate their works that they've done of ones that they would consider cinematic quality or like true cinema versus like Jack, which maybe they themselves would say, oh yeah, that was just some trash I made for money. Like, so they would
no,
conflate the two.
definitely, yeah,
you
that's
know?
definitely the distinction they'd probably make, unless
Yeah,
you
okay,
know,
all right, fair enough.
unless they're fucking loony. Which They might be.
I don't know. Maybe Jack is great though. I haven't seen it. What about didn't Spielberg direct the North Pole or the Polar Express or whatever? That was probably
With Tom Hanks.
Norm of the North.
yes, with Tom Hanks, with
Polar
the action
Express,
cinema.
was that like the animated one with the very uncanny
Yeah,
3D?
yeah, the
Yes.
weird CG Tom Hanks one.
It's an improvement,
Wait,
darling.
that's Polar Express?
Yeah.
I think so.
Oh god.
It needs to be about
No, I
20%
remember,
cooler.
I remember that coming on like ABC. Like
It
every
needs to be about
Christmas
20%
season.
cooler.
I don't even remember
The
watching
worst
the
thing
whole
about those.
It needs to be
Polar
about
Express,
20%
beloved,
cooler.
whatever, man. I'm sure everyone says this, but the Polar Express, beloved children's story. I liked it in school. Whatever, it's fine. It's cool. Who cares? But then they add like when they make the movie, they have to add like action scenes of the new like
They gotta
worthless
add
Tom
like
It
a
needs
love
to be about
interest. They
20%
gotta add like a
cooler.
subplot where he
Yeah.
like wins his
Yeah.
father's respect or something.
You gotta movieify it. It can't just be boy goes to the North Pole, which should be like a 15-minute film or whatever. But they had to make it like an hour long, so I guess that's why they padded
It's
it out.
frankly
reminds me of
amazing.
Dumbo.
It's
Have you guys seen Dumbo the movie, the remake?
the new one.
The
No.
live
I
I have
action. Yeah, the
heard
live
all
action.
about it. I have heard all about it.
Why? What of it, Mage?
It just reminded me of how you said like it can't just be the story; they have to add shit in, and that's
Mhm.
basically it. That's my point. But they have
see.
to add
Okay,
shit
fair
in.
I
I'm
heard
happy.
that they don't even. I heard that they don't even have the crows.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah,
no.
they made
I
a
mean,
lot. of
I'm
changes.
What-
sure they'd want to whitewash
what
that.
the
right?
fuck?
You know, whitewash it. Know what I'm saying?
What the fuck?
It's all
They're
And
like
don't
integral.
worry, Ben. They have a small girl that wishes to become a scientist.
Nice.
What?
You know,
What?
I don't
So,
remember Dumbo at
It
all.
needs to be
Were the
about
crows
20%
actually,
cooler.
Like, an important narrative element to the story?
Yeah, they sing the fucking elephant.
It
I
needs to be
sing an
about
elephant
20%
fly
cooler.
song. They give him the magic feather that makes him think he can fly.
Now the girl gives him the magic feather.
Terrible.
It's all about the girl now.
Oh, these
Dumbo's
fucking
just there.
SJWs, man. Sticking girls in our stories about
It
proud,
needs to be about
big
20%
tower elephant
cooler.
I
boys.
wouldn't even
Improvement,
mind
darling.
it so much, but like she gets so much attention for like no
Improvement,
payoff.
darling.
She's been right from the moment the
Improvement,
movie
darling.
started, and she goes through
Improvement,
no
darling.
arc or anything. She's always been
Improvement, darling.
right. She always knew what to do. She's there.
Just like Applejack, I didn't learn anything.
It needs to be about
And then, like,
20%
also,
cooler.
I don't want to shit on a kid, but like the
It
way
needs
she
to be about
delivered the
20%
lines,
cooler.
she's so
It needs to be about
sh-
20%
bad.
cooler.
I didn't like her.
I mean, if you got a
Actor.
bad child actor, it's the director's fault.
It needs to be about
Oh, yeah,
20%
like,
cooler.
She has a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
brother, and she has a little brother, and like what he has even less purpose than like she's at least there to be like the plot device basically, but the little brother just exists. Like why even have a little brother at that point? Honestly,
Mage,
because he
I hear
doesn't
you loud
matter.
and clear, Mage. New thing bad, old thing good.
No,
Message received.
No, I'm just
Yeah.
complaining that the little brother didn't
I
have
know,
Dude, we
a
have to
purpose.
go back. We have to make America great again. Bring back the original Dumbo.
I just didn't like
For
the
them.
child. the
For
children.
me.
I feel you.
You know,
It
it
just seems like perfectly reasonable.
Just looking at this stuff from like a more holistic standpoint, I was actually going to bring up the reason as to why Disney's remaking all these movies. And I thought initially it was because they
It's gotta be money, right?
I thought,
Yeah,
and like this is
sure.
the viewpoint that a lot of people were bringing up. They thought that they were doing it to renew the copyright so it wouldn't enter public
Yeah,
domain.
Okay,
But
okay.
apparently that's not true. I'm like researching it right now, and apparently that's
no,
not
I
the
mean,
case.
doesn't copyright last like 80 billion fucking years now?
No, it's like almost.
Does
It's
it
almost.
last like until the creator is dead,
Yeah.
plus like another 2 centuries or some stupid
Something.
crap?
It's something like
Yeah.
almost 100 years for some.
Great.
But
yeah, love it.
yeah. So I guess it is just like straightforward. It's just about the money, like just
Yep.
Rehashing these IPs.
Epic.
Yeah.
I mean,
Literally
at this point,
epic.
we're probably like, I don't know, 5, 10 deep into these movies. They would have stopped if these weren't
It needs to be
successful.
about
Oh, yeah.
20% cooler.
Everybody hates them,
Darling.
but they make so much fucking money.
Because it's Disney. I don't know. It's just
It
Disney
is,
again.
it is.
Look, here's the thing.
Disney again.
I hate what I saw of the Lion King. I hated it so much that like
Yeah.
I'm not
I
even
have not heard anyone say anything good about
right.
the Lion King
Like
remake.
I'm not even gonna pirate it because like I don't want to see any of it. It looked terrible.
Yeah, me neither.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like
I don't even.
I am.
why translate it to
Take.
this medium? Like with this weird CG crap where it's talking like the lion turtle from fucking
It needs to
Avatar
be
The
about
Last Airbender,
20%
you know?
cooler.
Like that's how all the characters were talking.
It's an improvement, darling.
It's like, oh, that just looks so weird in CG.
I heard they brought James Earl Jones back to play Mufasa again, but he's got to be old as shit. He's not going to
Improvement,
sound
darling.
like I don't know. You know, whatever. Small point. You get.
You never
you get
stop
the point.
sounding like James Earl Jones.
I suppose, but you can sound. Ooh, it's so sad when
It's
like
an
they bring
improvement,
back
Donnie.
guys who are like they're playing the same character. They're not supposed to have aged, but we can
You
see
can hear it.
they've
You
aged
can
Donnie.
a lot.
Oh, like Jacques the Bird.
Like Jacques the Bird, Ben. Yes, and John Trun's hit new video.
I have not
advertising
seen the
some
new
shitty
video, but I
toy.
saw you and Hippo speculating on whether Jacques is getting old.
I haven't seen that. one yet.
This was fascinating. So John Tron made a new video. It was whatever selling his merch.
Some
But,
dog
you know,
shit.
It's
Just
funny.
Just some NU John dog shit.
Basically, but the funny thing is, we call it NU. This is a fascinating concept, actually. So, like, for the last many, many years, at this point, probably most of John's, like, YouTube career or whatever, probably the vast majority of it, John has not used Jacques for anything. And that's because working with Jacques was, like, hard and he, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
I get working with animals, especially a bird, probably challenging and hard. I get that. But nonetheless, this toy has like a big feature on the toy, has Jacques on his shoulder in the toy that's being sold of John. So it's like, I don't know, I feel some kind of way about we're remembering the good old days of like the classic stuff that we love John for the most, but he doesn't do this anymore. Like none of his new content is of this style, despite us like we're paying him for the toy of how he used to be, but he doesn't do it anymore. So like why would we support? Look, I don't even dislike his current
That
stuff. I
seems
think
like
it's fine.
the whole John experience in microcosm. Like it's just I feel like John today only exists off of like momentum from like classic John that everyone was so excited about. And
You know
now
the
it's-
weird thing
and
about
now
that,
when you
Ben?
see John, it's like, oh, that kind of tickles that part of my brain that used to get excited about John back then.
That's
It
kinda
sort
true.
of looks like him. Yes.
The weird thing is
the
just
feeling is back.
The weird thing is just how unbelievably successful all of John's content
It needs to be about
is,
20%
despite
cooler.
what I would consider
It needs to be
pretty
about
serious
20%
loss
cooler.
of soul. They're
Yep.
so popular, like 10 million views per video, which he does every like month or two.
No, people love the
Something like
spectacle,
that.
man. That's all
It's
there
an
is to it.
improvement,
You know?
Donnie.
Like for some of its jokes, it's literally just like I spent $1,000 on this prop.
It needs to
I
be
just
about
destroyed it.
20% cooler.
I don't think there even is that
Yes.
much spectacle. I don't know. I don't feel like when a new John drops, it's like a fucking extravaganza. It's just I've only seen a few of the newer ones, but they just seem like the same old shit. Like half of them, he's literally just sitting on a couch.
You know,
It
honestly,
needs
I
to be
wouldn't
about
give credit to
20%
John.
cooler.
I don't even really dislike his new videos. I've watched some of the new ones, and I have enjoyed them because there's a lot of like, he does like practical effects.
Dude, to quote Mr. Plinkett, I'd rather see them than blood in my stool. But
Well,
It needs to be about
true.
20%
But, like,
cooler.
look, I love the guy because like he would make video game things that were really funny. I could like relate to it as an epic game or whatnot. That's fine. That identity is established for the guy. Now he just makes pretty much more
improvement,
straightforward,
Donnie.
absurdist comedy or whatever. But you can really tell he is passionate
It's an
about it and he
improvement, Donnie.
works hard and he has a vision. Even when I didn't like the videos like at all, and we were all like, oh, why is he in this weird set? It feels a little more natural now. I really do respect his work ethic and his like dedication to the craft. Like nobody's putting as much work or effort into his
It
videos
needs to be
as
about
John.
20%
So
cooler.
just on that
It's an
front,
improvement, Donnie.
You
am
know,
impressed.
it's the funniest
what do
thing.
you mean he's putting work into them?
I mean, he's getting practical effects, he's getting actors, he's getting like
Wait.
skits that he's scripting out, he's going to live action places in the real world.
Wait, do
filming
you
bits.
not think he's putting work into them?
It's an improvement, Donnie.
I
don't
guess that's
know.
not
It's
your
an
point,
improvement,
Ben.
Donnie.
I've
Something
seen a
else,
couple
but-
and I wasn't like very impressed.
I mean, he's putting in work into them regardless. Like maybe
maybe
it's
I
like
Here's one thing.
maybe I haven't
Here's-
seen the right ones.
like the direction
It's a
might be
spectacle.
misplaced, but like the work is definitely there.
There, like he did a video for I forget
Let me
what it
watch
is.
this Jacques exposed.
Okay, fine. Well, this one isn't particularly highly.
It's
produced
2
or
minutes
anything.
long.
Oh, I want to
Yes.
watch it too.
It needs to be about
it's
20% cooler.
Yep, 1 second in and it's horseshit.
Look, whatever, man.
No,
Look, but
there's
just
nothing
listen to
good.
this, though.
Nothing good about this. Okay.
In one of the videos, I forget what it is. It was the Goop one. It was the one he did for Goop. At the end, he does this whole thing where he goes
that recent?
into like.
It
that
needs
recent?
to be
yes,
about
that was
20%
last
cooler.
like, couple of months or something. Yeah.
Oh, found it.
He-
Okay, good.
Okay, there you go. Like skip to the end. He does a little thing where they've like produced an actual, excuse me, fucking a thing. He is literally being a snake oil salesman. Funny. That's a funny joke. He's being a snake oil salesman. They set up in real life across the street from an actual practical goop store that he's
Oh,
mocking.
yeah, I saw
He is
that.
hawking on the street, like he's in full costume.
It
He's got
needs to
a
be about
script he's
20%
doing,
cooler.
and he's got the whole snake oil
It needs to be
like
about
cart
20%
set up.
He's
cooler.
doing an
I'm
Nathan
impressed
Fielder.
by that effort. That is cool.
Yeah,
I
okay.
like that.
No, this is good. This is a good costume.
That's a
set and
good
all
bit.
that.
That's a good
fine.
bit.
He's playing the Nathan
Yeah.
Fielder.
I don't care.
Like, who on YouTube is doing that?
You know
I don't
what?
know many.
You know what? You know what? When you have as much money as JonTron does, literally nothing you do is impressive
them.
anymore.
Right,
So,
but look, it's all.
what do you mean? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, you just get on the phone and say, "Hey, pay someone to make this happen," and then they'll do it for you.
You have no idea what's
Yes,
involved
I
in
do.
running
You
a
gotta have the
business
vision to
of
like
his
make it
scale.
make it come together.
I guess. How much
Give
vision?
him his
do you think
administrative
you need?
credit, if nothing else.
Well,
It's only fair.
No, but
Dog
like
shit, bullshit, worthless.
you guys gotta like realize that like this is all in relation to like
Yeah.
his old content, which is like, you know, S tier, you know. So it's like in terms of like being a reaction
Sure.
YouTuber, he's still like one of the best.
I think he is. I respect what he's doing.
Yeah.
I don't
I don't know.
hate him. I don't hate listening to him, but I don't know. You know what? It just. I just
die,
I can't.
John.
I don't know
Just
why.
cease.
I don't have any desire to fucking open up a JonTron video anymore.
Sure.
The magic's gone. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the problem. I don't know.
I get what you're saying because like you know I
Yeah.
see the videos pop up on my feed and I don't click them.
I'm like,
Yeah, me
okay.
neither. Me neither.
Cool.
Most of the time.
Glad John's
Um,
doing well.
Sometimes do.
But you know what?
Doing
I
his
did
thing,
watch
surviving,
just recently. I
grinding.
went back and I watched his Banjo and Kazooie Nuts and Bolts review. You know, this was like the video that was like the most famous of his that
Right.
made him
Yep.
hit the big screen, hit, you know, the big scene, whatever. And it was very good. And I should keep in mind I have seen it many times and loved it. I'd call it like an 8. I'd call it like an 8
Sure.
currently. I don't know. Maybe I've changed. YouTube has evolved. Is it fair to compare, you know, things of that nature to what we got now? I don't. It's still a legendary video that made so many waves, and it deserves respect for that. You know, it kind of set the field for a lot of epic game reviewers with editing and goofy, gaffy skits and whatnot.
Sure, that stuff was
So
good.
whatever.
That was
I
good.
respect him on that.
It was a fun time.
I don't know.
It
It's
was a good era.
It was a good era. It was a good era. This is when him and John, or him and Aaron, were like first forming.
It
game
needs
groups,
to
I
be about
believe.
20%
It was
cooler.
like after some videos I thought were more recent. This Banjo one, whatever. I don't know. It was impressive. We all know that was like, because that was him being a gamer. You know, that was him tapping into his identity for its purest, most, I don't know,
It needs to be about
distilled
20% cooler.
gamerish
That was
cred, and he was
Gamer
capitalizing
John
on.
is his most gamerish.
It needs to be about
there's one other
20%
thing
cooler.
about John that I must say I find extremely attractive.
And
in
that
its-
is
in
his
his
race,
body, his
realism.
sexuality.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Here we
It's,
go.
it's like this
Improvement, darling.
total lack of need to work at anybody's pace but his own. And you know, maybe it's just because he's so rich or whatever,
Yeah.
he doesn't care.
Oh, he's got the
That's
leverage.
because he's got so much money. Of course, he doesn't have to do
He's
anything.
got the financial
But
leverage.
he was
Good
like
for
that
him.
all along, you know,
I
all
feel
along.
like Ben is
He
It
quit
needs
game
to be
jobs
about
for that
20%
reason.
cooler.
rich.
Oh, you don't really
I
know
feel like,
what
yeah, I'm
reason
just
he
not a
quit
fucking
Game Grumps.
bootlicker, okay? That's my thing.
It
Sorry
needs to
if
be about
that's weird.
20% cooler.
Who am I licking here?
Oh wow, look at this! Wow, look at this incredible
It needs
set
to be
that he
about
made.
20%
Yeah, he's got
cooler.
like $800 billion. He can make any set he wants. It's not a challenge.
Oh my god, you don't even know what his finances. You have no idea.
Oh, how much do you think that cart cost to make, Nate?
Maybe. He probably rented it. He probably didn't buy it, right? So you
Mhm.
rent it from somewhere and then you deck it out. Maybe
Couple of
$1,000.
$1,000.
Okay, but regardless of the
Yeah.
price, it's a pretty neat card.
It needs to be about
So
20%
what?
cooler.
There's
So
a
fucking what?
bunch of things that cost a shit ton and look ugly as fuck.
Here's the
Ben.
difference between me and you. I watch a
improvement,
Marvel
darling.
movie and I don't like or I actually I don't do that. But if I did do that, I would see some CG and be like, it's not. I would never be impressed by it because like of course they
needs
have
to be
all this
about
beautiful
20%
CG.
cooler.
They paid like 8,000 people to spend like 2
Well,
years
I
apiece
agree.
making it.
I agree.
So
But,
it's,
the
my
difference
point is that it's not impressive.
Look,
It's
the
improvement, darling.
scale. I think that the
It's
difference here is
improvement,
the
darling.
scale of
The
like
point is that
what
the point
Marvel
is that
has
it's
at his
just
disposal
budget, and I'm
versus
not
John
impressed.
and his YouTube
I'm
channel.
not impressed by budget.
And that's not fair to the people who actually did work on the CG and make it look.
Improvement, darling.
Right,
Like,
a lot
they
of
still
people.
put a lot of effort.
Right, you know, it's like it's all these resources. A lot of people can do the work, but it's like you have to
always
put
knew
someone
I
in
was
charge who knows
brilliant.
like what they're doing. So it's like if you don't care about the money, sure, fine.
Yeah, I mean,
you
like,
know, but it's
Disney
like,
has a shit ton of money, but Lion King still looks like shit.
We
Right,
will
exactly.
we
You
will
have to put the
we will
right people
never
in
know.
charge.
Even if this is like a gorgeous cart, even if you're just like, oh my god, I am living for this cart. I am
Yeah.
here for it right now. We will never know who made this cart.
Right,
It wasn't
right.
John.
Okay,
We
yeah,
can
but it's like
ask.
He
I don't
just
know.
rented it.
dude, I couldn't give a shit about the car. It's like it's what
Yeah,
what context the
well,
car
just for
exists in. You
example.
know, it's like was the joke funny? It's like could like who could have thought of
Maybe
that joke?
okay.
You know?
To be fair, I didn't watch the whole video, so I don't know if the joke's funny. Maybe it's
Ben,
funny.
I don't know either.
I
I
can
don't know.
appreciate and sympathize with your point. I
Yeah.
really do. I
Yeah.
just think that this joke is funny and it's well done. So I guess that's my main
it
point.
might very well be.
I feel I can separate the money issue, which I agree is legitimate.
I'm
and I
not saying I'm not even saying fuck John for having money.
Sure.
I'm just saying I'm not impressed by like the presence of like cool sets and costumes because like yeah of course he would have those things.
Better than the set and the costume is going across the side from Goop and being a snake oil salesman in real life. Just that concept.
what
very
is-
funny.
Pretty
What is
funny,
Goop, by the way?
Goop is Gwyneth Paltrow's obviously retarded like lifestyle brand of stupid goops and essences. They literally have magnets that you're supposed to like attach to yourself that are supposed to like balance your chi, like shit like that. Shit like that.
Maybe
Okay.
It
you
needs
should
to be
watch
about
the video
20%
before
cooler.
criticizing it then.
Ben's not even
I'm
really
not
criticizing
criticizing
the
the video.
video.
I'm just saying. I'm literally just saying fuck you. That's all I'm saying.
Well, that's all I want. That's
No,
all I
you.
want.
Okay.
It
all
needs
right.
to be
well,
about 20%
agree to
cooler.
disagree, I guess. God damn it! I had another Rockstar X-Durance marshmallow flavor.
It needs
Yeah,
to be about
find
20%
Give me
cooler.
30 seconds. I gotta
It
check
needs to be about
downstairs.
20%
That's
cooler.
not fair. If he's going to get his marshmallow, I want to get my apple juice.
Your apple juice.
Go for it, I guess. I'll just fill time.
Hey, I tell you what. I actually started a website recently.
Yeah.
It's Philip
improvement, darling.
SOSSOUart.com. That's my art
Put that in the
website.
link.
That's for my that's for all my well, it's for my
It needs to be
animation
about
ventures and
20%
for like
cooler.
drawing and all that stuff. To, a place for me to what's the word?
Post your shit.
Right, exactly.
darling.
You know,
Yeah.
situate it all. But also, I'm a big fan of puppets. I don't know.
Okay, I'm back.
I don't know when I got into
Yeah?
puppets,